And I call the member for Durack.
I rise to speak about Labor's cost of living crisis. Once again, we have a motion from those opposite that proclaims that they're addressing the cost of living is their #1 concern and priority. Well, if that's true, Madam Deputy Speaker, then it's a very sad indictment on the competency of the Prime Minister and the Treasurer. Now, Australians aren't stupid, they're not silly. They can see through the spin of those opposite. Every time they get a bill in the letterbox or reach the cash register at the supermarket, they understand that things aren't getting better. Now, I know Australians are tired of the constant nitpicking of the major parties, and I think we have heard that loud and clear. But facts do matter, Madam Deputy Speaker, and they have to be called out because that is in the national interest. After 2 years of Labor, the cost of essentials has increased significantly, as follows. Food is up 11.4%. Housing is up 14%. Rents, well, they're up 14.2%. Electricity is up 21.5%. Gas is up 22.2%. Health is up 11.1%. And education is up 10.9%. And yet here we are today with another motion pretending that low-income earners, under their watch, are somehow better off. Well, who do you think those additional costs affect the most, Madam Deputy Speaker? Of course it's the low-income earners in Australia. The minor increases in take-home pay that those opposite are bragging about here today, shamefully, are eaten up by the inflated cost of living and the potential interest rate hikes. Tackling inflation should be the government's #1 priority. Instead, they've introduced $315 billion in new spending with absolutely nothing to show for it. While inflation tracks down across most of the developed world, well, ours is tracking upwards. Last week's release of the monthly Consumer Price Index likely removes all hope is being dashed of the Reserve Bank cutting interest rates anytime soon. Headline inflation rose to 4% and core inflation, which is the RBA's preferred measure, rose to 4.4%. This is the 4th month in a row that core inflation has headed in the wrong direction. The RBA only has one mechanism to tackle inflation, and they've been left to do all of the heavy lifting. It is shameful. More rate hikes are probably on the way because of this government's failure to tackle homegrown inflation. Homeowners with a typical mortgage of $750,000 are already $35,000 worse off a year under this Albanese Labor government. Further rate hikes will only increase the burden on mortgage holders. So not only is the Australian dream of home ownership dead for young Australians, largely due to Labor's reckless migration program, but it is becoming a nightmare for mortgage holders as well. Madam Deputy Speaker, I will admit to following a few of those opposite on social media, and I have been amused by some of their recent posts. Every day over the past few weeks there's been a sort of bit of a countdown, a few updates. Only 10 days till the tax cuts come into effect, then 9 days, then 8 days, and so on. Well, we are finally here. Hooray. Now, don't get me wrong, I am very pleased taxpayers are getting to keep more of their own money because as Liberals and National Party, that's what we believe, that Australians should keep more of what they earn. Australians certainly know how to spend it better than those opposite. But let's not pretend that Labor suddenly cares about cutting taxes. Oh no. Now, we know that Labor's here today taking credit for reducing taxes, but they take no responsibility for raising them. Labor is banking $60 billion worth of bracket creep and has increased personal income tax by 20% since the election. The OECD Taxing Wages 2024 report found that Australia's personal income tax burden grew faster than any other advanced economy last year. So, in conclusion, I'm calling on the government to stop patting yourself on the back with motions like this and get on with delivering a real economic plan to restore prosperity to our nation.